Happy Sunday morning to you. I'm Johnny Mayer on our H Hawaii media family of radio stations broadcasting statewide at hawaiistream.fm, covering Kauai, Oahu, and Maui. We're going to be discussing something that just took place a few days ago, the announcement that Hawaii opens its doors to cryptocurrency, the trading, and embracing the digital financial frontier. There was an article at TV4.com. Prior to that, there was an announcement from the president and CEO of Grassroots Institute of Hawaii that made the announcement that this was brought forward. Kind of under the radar, didn't really make a lot of news, but KITV.com recently covered it with the individual we're speaking with right now. And this would be Joe Kent, Executive Vice President of Grassroots Institute of Hawaii, who really has a good background, a solid understanding of this new form of finance. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Johnny.
This is kind of, it took me by surprise. I read Keli'i's piece that he sent out everybody in the email blast from Grassroots Institute of Hawaii. I said, where did this come from? With the financial institutions, the State Division of Financial Institutions making a ruling on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it took us by surprise too. We have been beating this drum for years, and then we finally got everything we wanted, which is that cryptocurrency is now open. It's an open market in Hawaii.
Now, what are some of the forms of cryptocurrency that this still is quite new, and a lot of people, since they haven't been exposed to it, might not know what we're really referring to. It's a different form of payment, and you can invest in it, and there's also worries about it. But some of the names like Bitcoin I'm familiar with. Some of the other ones you can explain to the listeners?
Well, money, we all know, is dollars and cents, but now you can add Bitcoin to that definition. And, of course, gold is part of our money system too, but Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have entered the market over the past decade. Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency that was created more than a decade ago by actually, nobody knows who created it, but the code we can all see, and the code says that there can only be 21 million of these Bitcoins produced, and that limits the supply. So that means if you buy a Bitcoin, then you have that, and no one else can create more Bitcoins than 21 million, and so that makes it kind of a store of value. These have been wildly popular amongst a niche audience for a while now, but now they're hitting a mainstream stride as they've been, adopted by the SEC as ETFs, exchange-traded funds. So at the federal level, there's more sort of worldwide adoption of these cryptocurrencies, and that means that more and more consumers can get involved in using them as savings. So basically, you can get dollars, you can get cents, you can buy gold, or you can buy Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, and it's just an asset.
And I saw the price was about 47,000, 48,000. It started way lower than that. Now it's fluctuated, but it hasn't gone down to the initial stages. But now it's up in the high thousands, like 47,000 for a single purchase. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Actually, it's up above 50,000 now, so it's going up. And but the price of Bitcoin at least fluctuates quite a bit. Just this past summer, it was down around 20,000, and so there have been a lot of rags to riches stories in the Bitcoin space, but there have also been a lot of riches to rags stories too.
Yeah. That's Sam Bankman-Fried would be the one everybody knows about.
That's right. Yeah. So Sam Bankman-Fried was a notable scam artist, crypto kingpin who had a company called FTX that many people would use to trade cryptocurrencies in. But the problem was he was doing some monkey business behind the scenes with those funds. And then when people went to try to draw on their cryptocurrencies, they realized they weren't there. Sam had taken them, and finally he got busted, and now he's in jail. But a lot of people lost money with that.
So getting back, I believe it's Satoshi Nakamoto. What was was he the brainchild behind this, and what was his philosophy behind this? Because I think Elizabeth Warren just recognized him after being against this type of finance by erecting some kind of flag in D.C. or something like that a couple days ago.
Yeah. So Satoshi Nakamoto is the supposed creator of Bitcoin. That name, Satoshi Nakamoto, could have been a pseudonym. It could have been many people that just, worked under that name, or it could have been someone else with a different name. We don't know. But in any case, whoever this person was that created Bitcoin seems to have created it and then just disappeared. In any case, there are Washington, D.C. types like Elizabeth Warren, who's a notable, policymaker in the banking space. And she recently signed some sort of favorable declaration to recognize Satoshi Nakamoto as a favorable citizen recently, but which is ironic because, basically she has been very against cryptocurrency for a long time. So, but anyway, that's some newsy stuff.
Well, just to bring this to, clarify this and the credibility, I would say, isn't it El Salvador? I believe that this has legal tender now, and it's doing quite well and bringing a lot of people in from outside of El Salvador, not only to live but also to invest and prop up the economy. Have you been following that?
Yes. So, El Salvador did adopt Bitcoin as legal tender in that country, and that's significant because, that just increases more worldwide adoption and trust in money. And at the end of the day, money is trust. And all money is, even dollars, by the way, hold a lot of trust in it. And if a citizenry loses trust in the money system, then that money loses value. And so for dollars and cents, over time, if you hold that, it becomes inflated because the government has eroded the trust of it, and it's printed so many dollars over time, $100 trillion of dollars of increased money supply, and that's made our money worth less. And so that's why when I go to McDonald's and visit the dollar menu, it's no longer the dollar menu anymore. It's the $1, $2, $3 menu, and there isn't as much on there.
Yeah.
So that's why some people are trying to look for alternative forms of money, and that's where crypto enters.
Joe Kent, Executive Vice President of Grassroot Institute of Hawaii, grassrootinstitute.org, grassrootinstitute.org. I'm Johnny Merrill. Okay, back home. What was the situation before this change, which took place recently? Was cryptocurrency, Joe, hard to get in Hawaii?
Yes, it was very difficult to get. If you try to download an app to get it, you might download the wrong app. A lot of companies were not recognized in Hawaii. They, were not licensed in Hawaii or recognized by regulators here. So, for example, I tried to download an app called Coinbase and another app called Strike, neither app of whom I'm affiliated with, by the way. But I download the app, I make an account, I try to buy a Bitcoin, and then it cancels my account because it says, sorry, we see that you're in Hawaii. And there were so many companies like this. And the reason that they don't operate in Hawaii is because our regulations are just too strict. In 2014, the Division of Financial Institutions at the state said that any cryptocurrency company that operates in the state needs a money transmitter license. And the rules for money transmission are very different than for cryptocurrency companies. For money transmitters are things like Western Union. If you're trying to send money overseas or send money to a relative or something, that's the money transmission industry, and the regulations there may make sense for that industry, but cryptocurrency is really different. And so for a while, the cryptocurrency companies fled the state. Coinbase famously said, we can't operate under these restrictions. And so for years, the only way to buy Bitcoin or any other crypto like Litecoin or Monero or Ethereum was on the black market. Mm-hmm. And there was a black market. You would put in $100 in an envelope and lick a stamp and send it off, to who knows where. And then a week later, hopefully hope that someone sent you the Bitcoin or crypto to your phone somehow. So that's how people were doing it for years until 2020, regulators started to change their mind.
Hey, Joe, who makes up the State Division of Financial Institutions? You have an idea? This is the first I've heard of it with this acceptance of cryptocurrency, or who makes that up? So
that falls under the DCCA, the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. Mm-hmm. And Iris Ikeda is the banking commissioner of the Division of Financial Institutions. They have oversight over banks and money transmitters and a host of other sort of financial agencies that have to be licensed in the state. And
these people, how long do you think they've been pondering this?
Oh, they've been pondering it since 2014. In 2000, I guess it was probably around 2013, there was a big explosion in the crypto space. Mm-hmm. There was the world's biggest exchange, Mt. Gox, collapsed, and all of the customers couldn't get their cryptocurrency at the time. This is billions of dollars of money that they couldn't get, and it sent alarm bells around the world. And so that woke up the State Division of Financial Institutions in Hawaii to this issue. And so that's why they cracked down at the time so stringently. But I think they cracked down a little too hard, though. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you brought up a term. I've seen the term sandbox. Mm-hmm. Cryptocurrency sandbox. What is that, and who created it, and what did it do?
So the sandbox was created, like I said, in 2020 by Iris Ikeda, the Division of Financial Institutions Banking Commissioner. And she said, okay, let's let some cryptocurrency into the state. And by some, I mean around 10 to 15 companies. And we will handpick them, we regulators, and vet them and say who can get in and who can't be in. And we'll have these 10 to 15 or so companies play in the state for around for a couple years or so, and we'll see how it goes. And so in 2020, that was finally the state opened the door slightly to crypto, and they tracked it too, though. They wanted to see how much money how many citizens in Hawaii were actually using this, and it turned out a lot. There were over 100,000 residents who used cryptocurrency. They bought millions and millions of dollars worth of it, some hundreds of millions, probably over $1 billion of transactions just from Hawaii. And there were very few complaints over all of those years. And so the State Division of Financial Institutions now, 4 years later after the start of that sandbox, has issued a memo. And the memo says that we see that cryptocurrency is really different than money transmission, and we are going to let it go without a license. So now you don't need a license anymore to start a cryptocurrency company in the state.
And be able to have like double the amount of money that you've taken in. Is that how it worked also?
Oh, right. Yeah. So there was this technical fluke that happened in the money transmission application to cryptocurrency, which is that the law says if you are a cryptocurrency company in Hawaii and you want to have a money transmission license, you have to hold double the money that you actually say you have. So if you have $1 million of Bitcoin, then the law says you also have to have $1 million of dollars too, for total assets of $2 million. And that double reserve requirement is the stringent law, basically, that sent so many companies fleeing from the state. So now that's no longer an issue because those cryptocurrency companies don't need a license anymore.
All right, we're talking about Hawaii opening its doors to cryptocurrency, the trading, and embracing the digital financial frontier. KITV.com if you want to see the smiling face of Joe Kent with Grassroot Institute of Hawaii, the vice president whom we're talking to right now, discussing this in detail. Also, you can go to their incredibly informative webpage at grassrootinstitute.org and find out more. All right, looking forward to the conversation continuing here. I'm Johnny Merrill, and let's see, did legislators try to do anything also with this as far as cryptocurrency? Did they try to pass more laws?
Yeah, so for 4 years during the sandbox, legislators were toying with the idea of starting a licensure scheme. Mm-hmm. So, okay, we see this isn't really a money transmission thing, so maybe let's just make a new license for crypto companies, and it'll be the crypto license. And the problem, though, was that license, the bill for the license kept getting longer and longer. We saw bills that were 80 pages long, 90 pages long, 100 pages long. Why are these so long? And the regulations in them were so stringent, so that it almost wouldn't have made a difference. I'm not sure if any company could operate under them. A lot of the regulations had to do with the regulatory snooping, so the state can see your crypto, they can see how much you have, and that was kind of uncomfortable for a lot of privacy issues, of course. And the state also had a lot of money requirements as well. They had high fees for this and so on. So, it was just too much regulation. So that's why we at Grassroot Institute opposed this for years. Mm. And eventually one of the laws passed. I believe it was last year that the law passed, the cryptocurrency law, but it didn't pass the governor, though. The governor vetoed it before it could become law, and so that killed the crypto license. So the State Division of Financial Institutions, in the end, may have just sort of thrown up their hands and said, well, if we can't get past the governor, then let's just let it be free. And that's okay, too, as long as you say, buyer beware, there's no consumer protection here. Mm-hmm. So if consumers want to try to trade this, they need to be responsible about the benefits as well as the costs.
All right, so what does this mean, Joe, for the average consumer who may not even have Bitcoin or know what it is?
Well, more and more crypto is becoming part of our lives. If you look at the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, they have just approved an exchange-traded fund, an ETF. That's a vehicle for your retirement account, for example. So, a lot of people have retirement accounts. You can invest that in mutual funds or stocks or bonds. And now you can put that in an ETF, in a Bitcoin ETF. And so a lot of older generational folks may consider putting a portion of their money in that. And that means that they're going to be engaging more in this crypto market. But, cryptocurrencies adoption, as it becomes more trusted and more a part of our lives, we might see more companies interacting in our lives with crypto as the years go on. You might be able to buy a coffee with a fraction of a Bitcoin one day, or a pizza. In fact, people have bought coffee and pizzas, and I've bought plenty of things, by the way, with cryptocurrency. It's not that out of the ordinary. You can buy plenty of things online with cryptocurrency, and sometimes you can get a good discount, too, if you do that. So it may not be part of your life yet, but now that its doors have been opened in Hawaii, you might see a crypto company setting up shop near you.
So right now, just so I can clarify this, it's over $50,000. So you're going to need that amount of money to get in on this, to get your initial...
Well, yeah.
Okay. So it's not like gold where you can get about $1,000, $2,000, which where it's at right now per ounce to start that way. So you have to get about $50,000 invested right off the bat?
You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, actually, I know a lot of people who have bought a fraction of a Bitcoin, such that, you can even buy $1 worth of a Bitcoin. That would be about like 0.00001 of a Bitcoin. But, you can do that. And plenty of people do buy small fractions of Bitcoin, because even at small fractions, when the price goes up, even the value of that small fraction goes up too. And so if you buy $1 of a Bitcoin, if the price doubles, well, now you have $2. But just remember, if the price falls in half, which it has many times, then you might have less money.
Just before we talk about what this could mean for a local economy, I'm looking at the big picture. What do you think this means? Have you thought about this? How does this offset CBDC, central bank digital currency, which is being discussed, which, frightens a lot of people, obviously, and to have your own different way of finance with the cryptocurrency?
Oh, yeah. Well, cryptocurrency generally is a free sort of tool that anyone can use and choose not to use. But CBDCs are a government tool that many seem to think will be imposed upon the public one day. CBDC stands for Central Bank Digital Currency, and it would basically be a cryptocurrency that the government controls. And if the government controls it, then they presumably would want to control you and control your use of it, and maybe force your use of it too. And so now remember what the government has done already to our money, which has print so many more dollars and cents such that our money is worth less. They may do the same with cryptocurrency. And so just buyer beware of any crypto out there.
All right, what does this mean, Joe, for the economy here at the state? I mean, this could be a big change potentially. So what does it mean in your mind?
Well, it's a very positive development for Hawaii's economy. We're talking about billions of dollars of investment that could come to the state. There already are billions that have left the state after that ruling. And even under the strict rules of Hawaii during the strict days, there were still $1 billion at least of transactions. So we might see so much more activity in the state there, but also it's a check and balance against inflation too. We see in Hawaii lots of inflation, prices rising, and crypto is another vehicle to help save and hopefully get ahead of some of that inflation. But of course, you have to play your cards right. And you might get a losing hand one of these days. So this is definitely not financial advice or anything out there, but there is an opportunity for people to make money here, and that's a good thing.
And so, being digital currency means you never physically hold on to it. So you have what do you call it? A pocket or so?
Yes, there's a digital wallet.
Wallet.
And so instead of a physical wallet, you have a wallet on your phone instead.
Okay. Or
maybe you might have a little USB drive thing. So if you research this further, there are plenty of places to go online where you can research Bitcoin and digital wallets and things like that. But try to find someone that you can trust, though, if you're going to get in this space, and do a lot of research because, like I said, there are plenty of scams out there, too.
How about the neighbor islands? Do you guys have numbers on that to get close to wrap it up here as far as what island is really into cryptocurrency? Obviously, we have the biggest population here, but it could be surprising that Kauai or Maui or Hawaii Island has more people involved in this. Do you have those numbers?
Oh, yes. I don't have the numbers per island, but I do know many friends on the neighbor islands. Big Island absolutely has crypto groups. I think there is a little crypto group on Maui that meets periodically up country. I'm not sure about Kauai, but yeah, certainly crypto is all over the islands.
So you're the positive so far as where you think this is headed. It's a positive outlook.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime we can have something that competes with the government money, that's a good thing. And finally, there's only one time in, this is like something that might happen only in 1,000 years, or maybe 10,000 years, that a new form of money has been created other than the government. And now it's becoming popular and available for even you to try.
Where can they find your work at Grassroot Institute? Give them all the information, Joe.
You can go to grassrootinstitute.org. And we also have an email newsletter list. You can get there at grassrootinstitute.org as well. And we write about this crypto topic all the time, along with Hawaii's cost of living and housing and regulations, and taxation, and all kinds of other things.
It's gaining popularity, folks, more and more. Get the email letter. It's free. It's harmless, and it gives you a lot of good, solid background information on critical topics to the state. And I learned a lot today. I thought I knew something about cryptocurrency, but I learned a lot, Joe. Thanks so much, and have yourself a fantastic Sunday, and hope to be talking to you soon again.
Okay, thanks so much, Johnny.